What's up, guys? It's Shaker from Quad Hunting, and welcome back to yet another Quadcast. Today's guest is probably going to be my favorite I've ever had on. She is the wonderful, the amazing, the beautiful Alexandria Kelly. Alex, how are you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
So what you don't know is that was actually the second take we had to do because,
Yeah.
rookie mistakes. I only went to school for this, didn't check audio levels. We're fine. Two broadcasting journalism majors. We're good. So everything's fine.
Yeah, we're good. It's all good. No big deal. We're just hanging in there.
I feel like that's just our lives right now, hanging in there.
I can agree.
So, you have something very big coming up here soon.
Yeah, I do.
Why don't you go ahead and talk about that real quick? What have you been preparing for this last pretty much year, Alex?
Yeah. So I'm actually going to Egypt in less than 3 weeks, which it's so weird how it has happened so fast. I am currently, per what my Starbucks cup says, Miss Eco USA. So I'm actually going to represent the entire United States at Miss Eco International in a few weeks in Egypt. So I've been preparing for that for almost a full year now, and it is finally coming together. And am I freaking out a little bit? Yes. Am I very excited? Also, yes.
So this was rescheduled, right? This is not when this was originally supposed to happen.
Yeah, so in August of 2019, I was Miss Grand, or I was first runner up to Miss Grand United States. And at that point, I was just like, okay, cool. I'll come back next year to do Miss Supranational USA, which is just another national competition under the same kind of roof. And then quarantine came around, all that fun stuff. March, April came around, and I got a call from my team, and they had just signed on for Miss Eco USA. And because I was first runner up to Miss Grand United States, they wanted me to represent the United States and represent them in Egypt. And it was supposed to be in August. Well, it was supposed to be in August, and then it was supposed to be in September. So I was super excited. I was like, wow, this is awesome. They were like, we wanted to pick somebody that we trust, that we feel like will represent the United States the best, that we know can do it, all of this fun stuff, and can be a national title holder, because obviously we couldn't hold a national pageant. And because I got first runner up to grand, it ended up working out perfectly, yada yada. So then comes June, July, we announce it in like the end of June, beginning of July, and we were like, okay, it's go time. I'm going in August, baby. August rolls around, push to September. September rolls around, it's pushed to March. So I'm really thankful it was pushed.
I was about to ask that. As disappointing as that would have been, having it canceled, pushed back as many times
Yeah.
as it has, that's almost a blessing in disguise, though.
Yeah. It was, oh my gosh. It honestly, I was freaking out thinking it was going to be in August and September, because I had zero to little time to prepare. Just no time. I hadn't met up with my team. I didn't have updated headshots. We were still in the middle of like the depth of the pandemic when everything was locked down. I was like, there's almost no way for me to go across the world to represent an entire country right now and feel comfortable doing that. And all of the other girls had felt the same, because we had all recently been crowned and it was just going really quickly. And we trust the international director and everything she does. She's brilliant, but we were freaking out a little bit. So having that time to prepare, that way extra time, allows me to go to Egypt and be 100% confident in representing everybody in the United States. So I feel way more prepared and way more excited and way thankful.
So,
Very thankful.
so talk about your start in pageants, because this obviously not your first. You mentioned you already competed in one, was in runner up.
Yeah.
How did you get into the world of beauty pageants?
Yeah, so I started when I was 15, actually. So I started doing Miss Michigan Teen USA because I'm from Michigan, hence why I know Jacob. Uh, I started when I was 15 years old, and I just did it for fun. Honestly, I was a dancer ever since I was 5. I was like, this is a new cool thing to do on stage, walk in heels, get all pretty. Why not? Little did I know it would launch me into my future career. And after doing it the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, this is fun. This is more than just walking on stage for a few minutes here and there and, you know, whatever. I met the most amazing women of my entire life. I became way more confident and I learned so much about myself in just that one time doing it. And then I became so passionate about wanting to represent Michigan at Miss Teen USA. So that went on every year. And then I ended up doing Miss Michigan USA, and it just continued. I met the most amazing people. I had the most amazing experiences. It led me into what I wanted to do. I realized I wanted to do broadcasting because of pageantry, and it opened up my entire world. And so I ended up sticking in that system for so long. And then I was introduced to the Grand United States system. And that kind of just eventually got the ball rolling for what I'm doing now. But it's been almost 10 years, which is crazy. I'm like, oh, I've been doing this for 10 years. That's kind of insane, but okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
we're getting old. That's a great
Yeah.
reminder. Just we're getting old.
Yeah. I'm just, I hadn't, I was at the gym the other day, side note, and there was a boy, and he like you know, he wanted to talk to me and flirt and maybe like get my number or whatever. And I knew this homie had to be at like 18. I was like, there's no way. There's no way. And he asked how old I was, and I was like, I'm 24. And he was like, oh. And I was like, how old are you? And he was like, 20. And I was like, what year did you graduate high school? 2019. I was like, oh my gosh, I graduated college in 2018. Wow, I feel old.
That's what.
Oh,
So I've recently gone back to working at the same place where I had worked back in high school, college,
yeah,
and it's what paid for most of my tuition and everything.
right.
But recently went back there, and there's still a bunch of people I had worked with for years there, and they love to bring up. Remember when we were like 16? Like that was 10 years ago, and I was working here 10 years ago, and then yeah, it's just a reality kicking you in the face. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, or when you watch like a reality TV show, or you watch, you know, American Idol and The Voice, and all of these people are 18, 19, 20, and I'm just like, when I was 10, 11, I would look at that age and be like, they're adults, they're
They
so
know what
old,
they're doing.
they know what they're doing. It's just like, wow, they're old. I can't wait to be that age. First of all, I look at 18, 19, 20 year olds now, and I'm like, you're a baby.
So I look at them. I look at them, and then I see me in them, where I'm
Yeah.
like, 18-year-old Jacob should never have been allowed to make decisions he was making. Because that was awful. You were dumb. It's like, but you like, yeah, you think like when you're younger, you're like, all these college kids they're so smart, they know what they're doing, and past that, you're like, all of these people working these like, no, everyone is just guessing all the time and
All the time.
hoping they're right.
The entire time, literally from ages, you know, as early as I can remember to like 22. I just guessed everything.
Yep, you're just like, because that's kind of the whole thing for another time. Kind of forced into making those decisions without the proper knowledge of how to make them. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about you.
We can
So
talk about anything for hours. We always do.
we go down like our conversations just eventually evolve into a weird rabbit hole where we're like, how did we get from point A to now? We're not even in the alphabet anymore. We're like,
Mm-mm.
we've gone through 100 different conversations in
Yeah,
this
at this
hour.
point, it just.
Which is why I had to write down the questions for you,
I'm,
because I knew I would get sidetracked and our
I'm glad.
conversation would derail.
Yeah, I'm very glad you did do that. I'm very glad.
We would hit a tangent that would then hit another. Yeah, it'd go on and on.
Exactly.
So, talk about, because this is not, it's not your first pageant you've done in a while, but there was a break
Yeah.
that you did between a pageant and then when you restarted it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
I
was
had.
that? Why? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No. Yeah. I knew what you were gonna ask too. I knew how we were gonna finish that. I was like, I know he's gonna finish it. But yeah, so I went from, so I did Miss Michigan Teen USA for 3 years. I took like a quick break year, right in between my teen and Miss, because I was like, I feel like I'm still too young to do Miss, but I'm too old to do teen, so I don't want to like go into Miss still being really teen, et cetera, et cetera. Took that break year. I went back into it when I had met you. It was my first year at Grand Valley. I went back into it. I did it for a year, and then I took another break year. My mental health was really bad. I was just not okay. I was not okay. I had just got out of a really abusive relationship that I didn't really talk about how bad it was, but little known fact, Jake was there for a lot of it. And and he didn't even realize a lot of the bad stuff that was going on, but he was so helpful through so much of it. And a really big thing that I'll never forget was my first year at Grand Valley when I did Miss Michigan USA. So it was after my break year, or my second year at Grand Valley. I'm sorry, it was my second year, because my first year at Grand Valley, I took the break. My my second year at Grand Valley, I did Miss Michigan USA when I had like super short hair. I went through every hair phase on the face of the planet. I've had black hair and bangs. I've had the super short, everything. Everybody has seen the whole thing. Jake's all. So, total, again, just Jake has been through so many of my phases. So my year at Miss Michigan USA, where I was at Grand Valley for my second year, I was in that really bad relationship, that really abusive relationship. And my boyfriend at the time didn't go. And I know Jake would have gone if I would have told him to go, but he was texting me each night that was going on. He was like, "You're so beautiful, this and this and this, you're going to do amazing." And my boyfriend at the time didn't even say anything. And I was just like,
I don't mean to laugh, but
no, but
yeah.
it's funny, to be honest. And my
Mm-hmm.
mom, I remember I told my mom, I showed her the text messages you sent me, and she was like, "I hope insert boyfriend's name says that to you." And I was like, you know what? He doesn't. He actually doesn't say that to me. I was like, interesting. And I was like, that's funny. And it actually, like a little over a month after that, we ended up breaking up for the first time. Anyways, but I took that break year, my senior year of college. I just wanted to focus on me getting better. I got really, really sick. I got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. I lost a lot of weight. I was super mentally ill. Everything was just in the gutter that year. So I just decided to just take my time away. And then I ended up going back right after I graduated from Grand Valley that fall. I went back. It was a blast. I was so happy to be back, but things still just didn't feel right. I just didn't feel like myself. I was just really stressed out, and it was just, honestly, it wasn't a lot of fun that weekend. I felt very spiritually attacked, and I was just not having a good time. And so then I took another little break. And of course, this was a little bit before the pandemic. So it was like 2018 to 2019. Took a bit of a break, didn't really do a lot, needed to focus on me. And then I got introduced, out of the blue to the Miss Grand United States system. And I was like, maybe I'll come out of my little temporary retirement because it seems fun. And I didn't go into it thinking like, oh, I'm going to win or I'm going to do really well, because I didn't even know much about the system. I was like, this is a great opportunity. And as soon as I accepted the Miss Grand Michigan title, I went right back into full pageant mode, and I was so happy and so thankful. And then I went there and I was like, oh, I'm going to go win. And of course I got first runner-up, which was a huge blessing, but that was kind of my like getting into it. And now it basically feels like a career. I'm representing an entire country. So that happened fast.
So, what goes into being physically prepared for a pageant? So, but like with a lot of different events, bodybuilding, like all that, there is rigorous gym time, dieting. So, what does that look like on the beauty pageant side?
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know that too. And honestly, I think the great part about it is it's optional. It's optional to work like that. You can go into a beauty pageant. You don't have to be a certain height. Well, there's definitely height requirements for certain international pageants like mine. There's a height requirement in heels, but most people meet it anyways. But there's not a height or weight or size requirement. Really, anybody in the pageant world is accepted in any form. So if you're choosing to put a lot of time and effort into your body, again, you don't have to be the smallest person. It's just being fit and really caring about your body as a whole. So that's the best part, is it's totally optional to do that. I mean, all of the competitions are still there and you still have to compete in bikini and fitness and all of these things. It's just how you go about it that's really up to you to prepare. So for preparing for an international pageant, it's very intense. I had never, when I was going to Miss Grand United States last year, I went to the gym, but I didn't really go hard. I wish I would have, but I did not care too much about what I was eating. I didn't really have a schedule. I didn't have a lot of stuff at the gym that I knew how to do. A lot of it was a guessing game. And I was like, this seems cool. And I just did whatever. And so then when you watch Miss Universe or Miss Grand International or Miss America, and all of these women are super fit. And it doesn't mean they're all the same size, but they've got muscle, they've got abs, they're built, and they're on something strict. So then I knew going to internationals that was going to have to be me, because I wanted it to be me. So I have a personal trainer who is actually a friend of mine, and her name's Shannon. You can find her on Instagram. She's Hustle by Huff, and she has whipped my butt into shape big time, and I'm so thankful for it. She's given me a full meal plan. She has given me full workouts for every single week. She's given me grocery lists. Just everything has been super consistent, and it's really hard for me to get into that. Very hard, because I love junk food so much, but I love it as equally as I like healthy food, to be quite honest. I love fruits and vegetables and the healthy stuff, but I love junk food and things that are over processed and not good for you.
As somebody who has sat next to you in many classes, I can definitely attest to this.
Genuinely, I will probably eat anything. I will have a pack of green peppers, or I will bring a bag of Cheetos. At this point, they were the same to me. They were very equal. But preparing physically, knowing what's going to happen at Miss Eco International has been a big fire under my butt. There's a fitness competition, and it's very intense, knowing what has to be done. My endurance needs to be way higher than it has been in the past few months. I need to be able to lift weights and do crunches and push-ups and squats, the whole shebang, and really, really push it, because it's a big competition. And then, of course, there's the bathing suit competition, there's resort wear, and I want to go in being my best physical self, because I also feel like being your best physical self really helps be your best mental self. And preparing physically has actually helped my mental health a lot. So I am going to the gym 5 to 6 days a week. I am eating right. I'm keeping track of things. It's very different for me, but it has become a much healthier schedule in that aspect. So it's a lot, but I absolutely love it. I was at the gym last night till like 2:30 in the morning, but you know what? You got to do what you got to do.
Definitely have to. That's definitely more than I do.
I never did it. So, I mean, this is a first. This is a first.
But I also, even when I'm in a bathing suit, I still have a t-shirt on. So I don't usually worry about things like that.
It's all right. I don't need it anyway.
So what are some misconceptions you think people have, and that things that you want to straighten out about beauty pageants?
I actually was watching, so for people who don't know me, I'm Christian, and I am super devoted to my faith. And I was actually watching a live stream on TikTok the other day where a woman who is Christian as well was saying how she thinks beauty pageants are dumb because it feels like you're trying to win approval of other people. And I was just like, whoa, it's so different than that. Of course you want to win, and that's technically like people judging you, but pageantry is not about just walking on a stage, getting judged, and getting a crown. The depth of pageantry has been life-changing for me, and I wanted to just chat with her and be like, let me tell you how different it is. And you can't change that for everybody. I mean, some people will feel like football is a scam or something, and you can't change their, everybody will have their opinions about things, and you can't change the entire world about it. But I was just thinking, people still think to this day that pageantry is just about trying to win the approvals of others instead of approving yourself and being, and only getting your approval from Jesus. Because in the end, the only opinion that really matters to me is God's opinion, truly. But pageantry is still a job. So the depth of pageantry is all about not just trying to win. obviously that's a goal, but there's, I mean, the entire circle of pageantry is really about empowerment, if anything. You are meeting all of these amazing men and women during pageantry, whether you're networking with judges where after a pageant, maybe they want to work with you and they want you to work with their company. There's a job. It's leads to a million careers, modeling careers, speaking careers, careers for anything. You're networking all over the world because of pageantry. You also meet the most amazing people and you get to learn about all of these amazing experiences. Personally, what's been fantastic is being able to be a Christian woman and be in pageantry has allowed me to basically speak the gospel to different women, not trying to be like, force my religion on them, but that's just who I am. And then feeling comfortable talking to me about it and just, having that relationship with them. And the absolute support system you get from pageantry is another huge, just, oh my goodness, world changing. So the fact that people are like, well, you're just trying to get opinions from others and acceptance from others. No, it's just like a job. You interview for a news station and you bring them your reel of all these things that you've worked on. Pageantry, it's just the same way. You are passionate about platforms. Of course, there's the physical aspect to it. You work hard on it, but fashion and beauty is a big industry and you're also working on that. You're working on who you are, what your soul, is on fire for, different charities you work for, and different things like that. So it's really, pageantry gives a platform to talk about things that we're passionate about. And I've been so lucky to be able to have this platform. So the whole misconception of, pageant girls are just dumb models or, just the stupid little things. I think now people are more like, whoa, actually, this is pretty cool. This is something that people make a career out of. People are now going more towards that instead of just like, okay, it's bikini and evening gown and then they get a crown and then that's it. It's very different than what it was 50, 60 years ago. And I think people are realizing that. So that's very good.
I will speak for myself. Like, yeah, I was the same person. Like, oh, beauty pageants, they're just, they're ditzy.
Right.
But then, like, it was funny because I got to know you before I knew you did pageants. And then once I found out you did pageants, I was like, but like, she's smart.
Probably alive.
1 and 1 is not equaling 2 right now. Yeah. But no, it was really eye-opening because it's like, well, if a girl like Alex is doing beauty pageants, that means then there's probably more girls like Alex who are doing beauty pageants, and and they have all different levels of smarts, their personalities. They're not all the same stereotypical what everyone views a beauty pageant contestant to look like or be like. And so it's always real fun how, because I'm terrible about it, but I will look at somebody and be like, I think I know everything about you as I'm meeting you. And then just watching that change. I love telling people like, this is what I thought you were when I met you, but like, I was 100% wrong. I'm dumb. I'm an idiot. I can admit it, but that's always made me laugh. I did that all the time to different like reporters and stuff I worked with in the news world. Definitely, because like I had the similar misconception about them as I did at the beauty pageants that you're a reporter, you don't work hard, you just stand in front of a camera, have to look pretty and know how to talk. I so hope I can get some reporters on this podcast at some point to talk about that, because that's a huge misconception. That she is not under a contract right now, so that would be somebody I could probably talk to. That's the problem, trying to talk to reporters. Contracts very much no.
Sure.
But yes, but like I always love hearing what people in industries feel like, and then how the outside world views those industries. Because with beauty pageants, and we both have history working in broadcasting, and just those, I feel like those, a lot of misconceptions, and I feel like it's that way for a lot of different jobs and industries.
Absolutely, 100%.
So, the next thing I kind of want to talk about, if you're comfortable talking about it, you've had a little bit of work done.
Yeah.
So, it's taken me a little bit to get adjusted to seeing this Alex, because this is not the Alex This is not how Alex has always looked while we've been friends. So
True.
talk about not so much your decision to do it, but
Yeah.
what that was like, and another more again misconceptions about
Oh
people who
yeah.
get work done.
Heck yeah. So for anybody wondering, I'll just tell you what I got done. I haven't had any surgery, so I got lip filler, which was the big thing that really changed. And then I got Botox in my face. Well, it's called Dysport. It's a different neurotoxin. Botox freezes certain muscles and, nerve, receptors to freeze areas so that way lines don't form, basically, is what happens. So I got Botox underneath my eyes to help with things called jelly rolls that I didn't really know what they were called. But when I smile, these things are coming back, these little rolls. And then I got it here in between my brows and on my forehead. And honestly, I never thought I would get Botox for anything. I had always wanted lip filler because I just have. It's, how people get highlights. Jake has bleached hair. He was like, right, it's exactly, it's the same thing, whether you get your eyebrows waxed or you get lashes done or you get your lips done or you get your hair done. It's just things you want to do to feel like it will make you feel better. I have always felt beautiful, and I knew I was beautiful before, and I was confident in who I was, which made me want to do it because I was like, if I hate it, I'll just get it undone and I'll just go back to myself. And, it doesn't really matter to me. And the whole pageant world, you'd be surprised how many people actually have surgical work done. There's a lot of people who do. And to be honest, there were definitely times where I felt the pressure where I was like, oh, in order to win, I need to get work done. And then the other part of me was like, I don't need to do anything to win. And the other part of me was just like, well, what if I want to do something for myself? So I felt comfortable doing it because during the pandemic, all of that stuff was getting shut down and cosmetic nurses were getting shut down and all of these things were stopping. But I had met all these people that had gotten lip filler and I was like, I've always wanted it because my top lip was always really thin. I was like, I don't know. End of pandemic. Well, okay.
You can't say that yet. Can't say that yet. Knock on wood.
No.
It's coming, hopefully.
Yeah, it's still there. And the full lockdown, the full first lockdown, I had gone from but being a full-time retail worker to basically kind of being a social media influencer. The pandemic really took my profile up. It just went up, and I started getting brand deals, and I ended up meeting with somebody that does this stuff on the face, and I was like, wow, this actually has kind of come to me in a different way of just being like, I'm just going to pay for lip fillers. It's come to me in a different way. And I had known people that saw her, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm just going to say, screw it and do it. Because if I hate it, I will get it dissolved. And if I love it, I will keep it. And do I think it has enhanced my beauty? From my personal opinion, absolutely. Am I more confident in my face? Absolutely. And so now I feel comfortable. I feel more comfortable with my face. So you don't have to get any work done in the pageant world, but it's funny how different countries perceive work done. Mm-hmm. There's a documentary on YouTube, and I think Venezuela still does this, but I'm not going to say 100% sure because I don't want to be wrong, because the documentary is a little bit old, but for a very long time, and I'm pretty sure still to this day, they're very open about it. There's a house that the women who compete in Miss Venezuela live in, and there's about 50 women, and they start narrowing it down before they compete on the stage. But before that, they walk this runway, and there's a room full of plastic surgeons that mark up their body head to toe and say, this is what I would get done for you. And I can't remember how many women get stuff done out of all of them, but they all of them get plastic surgery, face to toe, the entire thing. But that's normal for mm-hmm. Venezuela. That is a very normal thing. They don't look anything like themselves from beginning to end. Completely different. And then, whoever goes to compete on stage, or, 10, 15 women to 20 women, they all have work done. And it's very normal there. So it's kind of cool to see how in different countries it's becoming more acceptable, and it's just different. But for me, there are personal reasons. I wanted my lips done so when I smile, I felt more confident. I wanted the jelly rolls under my eyes to go away because I felt like when I smiled, my eyes were the skin was pushing my eyes up so you couldn't see the color of my eyes. And I like the color of my eyes. My wrinkles were starting to irritate me. Frozen. I said, they're gone, baby. And that was it. So it's just cool now because a lot of pageantry women now are like, hey, I want this done and I want this done. And I'm like, go you. Makes you feel better, go for it.
I always feel like definitely work when you do anything to improve your physical look, whether even if it's going to the gym, working out,
right.
dyeing your hair, doing anything like that, getting work done. It is so important to not have to be doing it for the right reasons.
Yep.
You don't, like you said, you don't want to do it for other people's approval.
Yep.
You want to do it for yourself and for your own approval.
Yep.
I remember story time with Jake here a little bit. I was in a relationship at the time and I just started going to the gym more.
Yeah.
Kind of at that point, I'd felt like kind of gotten lazy being in the relationship, let myself go a little bit. So I just started going back to the gym, working out. And I remember my ex at that time asking me, why are you going to the gym so much? Why are you working out? And it was just like, well, feel like I put on a few extra pounds, want to take it off. And she was like, well, I don't think you need to. And I was like, well, thank you, but I'm not doing this for you.
Yeah.
I'm doing this because I look down at my belly and go, this isn't a stomach anymore. It is a belly. And I'd prefer it to go back to being a stomach. So I always feel like, belly is more of a nicer way of saying it. In my head, at least, it's a nicer way of saying, it's a little fat. If I say that person's got a belly, but if you say stomach area, I don't know. It's my head. My head thinks weird things.
It plays in my head the same way. I get it. Trust me. Totally get it.
So.
But that's the truth. It's just, if you're doing it for you, then great, and I did it for me. I really could care less what other people think. If they think I'm more beautiful, that's awesome. Thanks. If you think I'm less beautiful, cool. I don't care. I don't. And it comes from that base of like, my acceptance doesn't come from other people. It comes from God. And if I'm doing it on my own and I think it's okay, then cool. That's what I'm going to do.
So I always say like I only fight for one person's opinion, and that's my own. I fight for my own opinion. In my opinion of myself. If I feel like I'm doing okay, I don't care what other people have to say.
Exactly.
But it is nice to have some people who will tell you like, hey, you're And that's when like friends like Alex or Savannah or my friend Jessica, when those people are like, okay, hey, then I know. You have never had to do that. No,
I've never done that.
You've luckily got to miss high school Jacob, early college Jacob. You got to miss that Jacob. There was a lot of, I'll have Jessica on at some point to talk about that Jacob. But
all our high school moments are definitely,
And again, we used to think those people were smart and knew everything.
Yep. Oh, I remember we were in what was that one class in the morning? What was his name? It was that like, I know what
class. I know what class you're talking about.
Never came to it.
Same.
I was never there.
See, the best part, we showed up pretty good for the first 2 weeks.
Yep.
And then we both, without even talking to each other, stopped showing up to the class.
Yep.
The best part, though, was we had another class immediately after that in the same exact room. So, like, you skipped one class and the professor knew you weren't there. And then you're trying to time the walk-in.
Yep, for the next one.
Before, like, after he's walked out, so it doesn't, so that was,
Well, it was Barry.
Beery.
That was his name. How I passed that class, I will never know.
Same. I think just showing up on the exam dates were good enough.
Yep.
But
I didn't remember anything.
Well, the class, I remember being so excited for it because it was kind of it was called editing or graphics and editing or something like that. Yeah. And so I was like, I want to learn how to, like, because went into
Yeah,
it thinking this is going to be video editing. You're going to learn how to make
right.
video. You're going to learn how to make graphics, Photoshop, and all that. And we get in, and he hands us this is like a stack of papers, and it was all right. Pull out your AP style books and fix every mistake that is in this.
Yeah.
And it was like,
Ugh.
where's the graphics?
Yeah, where's the
Where's
fun stuff?
where's the editing? Because like at that point,
I hated it.
so I am very, very, very appreciative of my time at Grand Valley.
Yeah.
And the classes I took and all that, but there are some of them is like it feels like we're doing the same thing just in a different class. And especially my biggest issue I had with it was they took all forms of journalism and broadcasting and mashed them together.
Yep.
Back before we got there, it was a separate, if you wanted to go into written journalism, here's this, and then we'll put radio and TV together.
Mm-hmm.
They took all three of those and put them together. So by the time I was done with my freshman year, I was like, all right, I'm going into TV. This is what I want to do. I want to work behind the scenes in television. And it didn't matter. I still had to take all of the newspaper writing classes, the radio classes. And I did enjoy a lot of those. But like it was at one point, it was like, okay, I know I'm not going to use this. It's like taking a math class. I know I'm not going to need algebra to work a camera.
Exactly.
But it's the same thing. It was like, all right, I don't need to know all of these real fine details about this is when you can use this word. This is when it has to be capitalized. This is when you need to have a comma. This is when, because that's not what I'm going to be involved in. And I skipped that class because my problem was I'm like, if I'm not going to use this, I'm not going to use it. I will put in the bare minimum effort to get through the class.
Yeah. To pass, at least.
And then I'm going to focus everything on the part that I want to be on.
Yep.
And that was working behind the scenes. I feel like you weren't allowed to just kind of focus on what you wanted to focus on at Grand Valley. Again, very appreciative. It's opened a lot of doors.
Yes.
But I think there's definitely ways to make it better.
Oh, absolutely. And because once they combined everything, it was just kind of like, well, we all have to do everything to graduate. We had to take that class. It was a requirement. And even like whether graduating or not, that was part of the entire requirement, where most of us were not most of us, but a lot of us were just like, we don't want to do that because that's not what we're trying to do in our future. And I could not stand that class at all. I was like, the last thing I want to do is
the worst thing. He only offered early mornings.
Yep. And I was irritated. And it was only like a 10 a.m. class, but for me, that felt like 6 in the morning. I would go to bed at 6 a.m. and I was like, there is no way I'm getting up to be at a 10 a.m. class. And I do remember him being fed up with me at the end of the semester, where I think he just gave me a B. He was just like, take it. So I don't. Through it. He was like, I don't want to deal with you again, is basically how that ended. And I was like, good, because I don't want to deal with you either. And that's how it was. That was it. He was like, you know what? Take it. I'm like, I am.
But that, I always felt like as a freshman, you should be required going into the major, you should be required to take writing, television, radio, broadcast. Because I didn't know what I wanted to do. That's why I said at the end of my freshman year, after I took an offering of each, I was like, all right, TV is my passion. TV is what I want to do. Yeah. But I feel like after that, after your first year and you take all three classes, you should be allowed to now go, all right, I'm interested in radio and television.
Yep.
I don't care about written. I don't care about it. But again, because what I ended up doing is I became a director.
Yep.
Directors don't have to write. Now, if I wanted to be a producer in news, now I should have to take writing. Yeah. And again, because you're so young, and I know we opened this talking about how you shouldn't have to make huge decisions when you're those ages. But again, I feel like you should have to go through some of it and then be able to decide. Yeah,
absolutely. When I first went to Grand Valley, most people, like, obviously listening probably don't know, but so I went to a community college my very first year of school. I graduated high school. I was going to go to Eastern Michigan, but I had literally a breakdown before the day that I was supposed to go for registration. And I was like, I don't know what I want to do. It's pointless for me to pay for a university when I have zero clue what I want. I was like, I want education, but then I want psychology, but I also want this, but I also want that. And my mind was just not there. So my mom was like, go to Schoolcraft, get some prereqs in, get some basics, take some stuff, see what you want to do. And genuinely, I decided on geology. And I went to Grand Valley for geology. Like when I got there, I was like, I want to do geology, but I also like the TV stuff. So I'm curious. So I started the semester, the first week, taking one news class. And it was with Eric Harvey. And literally after that first class, I dropped the geology stuff and I went full-blown multimedia journalism because I didn't know. It wasn't until my second year of college where I was like, this is what I want to do. But even then, I was like, do I want to produce? Do I want to write? You know, for news, do I want to do entertainment? Do I want to do radio? Yada, yada. I didn't know that until basically when I graduated. I wanted to anchor kind of, but more entertainment side, but radio is really where I flourish. So it's like, you don't really know until you're in your 20s.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we're all forced at 17 and 18 years old after graduating high school to decide what we want to do for the rest of our lives without really knowing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, I got a degree in broadcasting. I don't use it.
me right now, kind of. I mean, to be honest and to be fair, I'm very thankful that I kind of am going on this path that I am now. Being able to be in that broadcasting world has helped me a lot in pageantry and in modeling and in social media and all of that type of advertising. It has helped a lot and I'm so thankful for it, but I cannot wait to hopefully take, you know, say I were to win Miss Eco International, which is obviously my big goal, to take that and really start something off of it
Mm-hmm.
and really flourish in the entertainment industry because of that title. So in the end, it will all work out. You are also extremely talented in all of that. So I know you're going to be using all of the TV broadcast stuff at some point, and you're obviously doing all of this now, and you're streaming and you're podcasting. So in a way, we're still using it.
Still using it, but just, yeah. Yep.
Different form. And it's honestly very cool to see how everybody's doing it in a different way. Everybody from, you know, our classes and stuff is doing so many cool different things. It's so, even though it's frustrating, we were like forced to take a lot of things that we didn't want. We still, each person kind of took their positive things from that and then dispersed into what they were like really, really good at, which is cool. It's really nice to see what everybody's doing now. Everybody's rocking.
Yeah, we got like Savannah and I, when we were working at the same station down in Florida, we always would reminisce about this person's doing this person's doing that. Like, we didn't expect this person to be doing that. And it's just, we had a lot of talented friends.
Yeah, we did. Everybody right now is still, I mean, they're all doing something amazing. So it's very, very cool. Very, very cool to see. And it was nice to be in the major and have such a small, it was small.
Mm-hmm.
We had the same classes with all of the same people. And I was just like, wow, this is actually kind of nice to not, you know, we did meet a lot of people, but we got to be with all the same people and develop like good relationships out of it, you know?
It was almost like being back in like high school, middle school era again, where, yeah, you had the same classes with all the same people.
Right.
Whereas if you're taking a math class and then you're going to a science class,
Right.
you're meeting 60 new people. Whereas if you go between journalism class to journalism class, it's like, I had like 60% of you in my last class.
Yeah, exactly.
What's gone on in that last hour?
Right. There's always, you know, and a lot of us were in the same, you know, class, and then the next class would be in the same, you know, we'd all walk together, you know, it ended up being perfect. And it definitely super, super grateful. And I genuinely wish during that time I took college and like really took it in and had more fun and didn't like, you know, but it, you know, I was in a really bad spot. So that's just how it is. But I'm very thankful that we were able to, you know, make a good group out of all of us and to just genuinely learn a lot about each other in these different areas. It ended up being great.
And it definitely helped when it was, hey, I got a project I need help work on, and can you hold the camera? Can you
Yeah.
help me write a script? And like we
Yeah.
just like, because you had so many classes with so many people,
Yep.
so many the same people, you would just grab people as you needed them. Just like, I'll help you. You know, I'm gonna help you, or
Yep.
yeah, we're gonna help each other, and pretty much even individual final projects in the same class, like we talked about.
Yeah.
You and Savannah were in different groups in that newscast project, but you guys jumped in to help us in ours.
Yeah.
Like that was just what we did. Like because
Heck yeah.
you had to help each other out, because the worst assignments were find a story, write about it, shoot it, and you looked on campus and you were like, well, I guess all of us can go to this financial aid meeting that's going on to write about what's going on there, or we can all go to the same soccer game to. So it was a lot of help when you would just reach out to somebody, be like, you have any story that you know about to help me out for mine? Can we tag team it? And it ended up just being real helpful when got a lot of deep ties.
Yeah,
because of it.
Everybody helped each other out, still stays connected in some way. It's so fantastic. So Grand Valley honestly like did a pretty good job.
Oh, for sure. Definitely did. Shout out to Grand Valley. Lower your prices a little bit.
Please. Just bad.
Forgive my student loan debt. Let's just go with that.
The whole thing.
Just get rid of that. Just drop that.
Just say please to it, please. Get rid of it. Thank you.
So where can people find you? What plugs do you have that you would like dropped?
A few. So easiest way to keep up with me is Instagram. My Instagram is Alexandria Kelly 96, not to be confused with my fan page. Alexandria _Kelly I think, like 96 fans. Someone made a fan page for me. It's not me. Please no, I would never do that for myself. I am not that into myself. Nope, not
She has to have those burners.
Yes, let's do Absolutely not. Pageantry, it's very normal to like for pageant queens to have like fan pages. So I wasn't like really weirded out by it. If I didn't do pageantry, I'd be really weirded out by it, but it was fine. So I was like,
yeah,
whatever.
If someone made a Jacob Hunting fan page, I would definitely be a little worried.
Yeah, I'd be like, fuck. I'm gonna go make one for you right now.
Be like, what kind of pictures you putting up? I need some new profile pictures.
Exactly. That's so fun. Oh my gosh. But yeah, Instagram, Alexandria Kelly 96 is the way to keep up with me the best. If you're curious about my trip to Egypt, I will be posting there. But of course, if you want to follow me at Miss Eco USA on Instagram, that is also another place to find me. All things pageantry, all things sustainability, modeling, everything will be there. If you also want to follow Miss Eco International on Instagram, all of the info to watch all of the competitions, to watch the final competitions, to keep up with everything will be there as well. They do a lot of Instagram stories and Instagram lives when the girls are there. So you'll be able to keep up with everything there as well. Those are the three main platforms you can find me on. I am definitely going to try and get my YouTube channel started up again here soon.
AK Beauty set. AK Beauty 4?
AK Beauty 4.
4.
I need to check that. Everything from now after that was AK Beauty 4. Usernames everywhere, like old Twitter accounts or like
trust me.
Accounts.
Once I got quad hunting figured out, I ran with that for the rest of my life.
Exactly. At this point, I'm gonna have to keep it. Everything is tied to it, but I 100%, yeah, that will. I definitely want my YouTube to get going again. I have a green screen. My brother bought me one. Him and I are gonna be starting a podcast this year, which will be exciting. So we're finally gonna bite the bullet on that. We've been wanting to for a few years, but we just haven't gotten to it yet. And so we're gonna do that this year. But right now, the big focus is Egypt, and that's what I'm focusing on. And I leave in a few weeks, so you can keep up with me on Instagram, and that's going to be the best way to follow the journey, the craziness.
And when you get back, we're going to have to do another one of these where we talk about the trip and what happened.
Yes, yes.
And then in between now and then, I'll have to find some more stories and think of some more stories.
Yes, hopefully I come back with the international crown. We will see. Just everybody keep me in their prayers and thoughts and all of that fun stuff. I really hope to do the United States proud. Obviously, the USA is under a microscope 24/7, so I hope in the best way I can bring some unity from our country and back into it instead of all the division. Obviously, that's been going on. And I just, I just want to do everybody proud. And I think after all this prep, I think I'm going to. So we're just going for it.
Just throwing it on in there.
We're doing it. We're doing the dang thing. We really are. I appreciate you and just love you so very much. You are one of the best people I've ever met and ever will meet. And for you to take your time out to talk with me about this and just chat means the world. So, I love you.
Oh, and I love you too.
Yeah.
We'll have to at some point, even though you live on the other side of the state and I'm living in the town where we both went to school, we're gonna have to hit each other up sometime.
Dude, yeah, I definitely after Egypt, I will definitely be coming out there at some point. I don't know when or how or where. I think after a bunch of stuff that happened in my life this summer, I've just been all over the place and just trying to mentally handle so much going on that I'm just like, so I will be out there and we will be hanging out for sure.
And once you get your YouTube videos going again, we're going to collab.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
We tried doing it a couple times, but we're actually going to make it work.
Yeah. You have to teach me how to stream on Twitch. I want to stream on Twitch. I don't know what, but.
Oh, just play Call of Duty. I know you play a bunch of Call of Duty.
Exactly. I love that game.
And you're a girl gamer.
Yeah. Instant. Instant views. They'd be like, oh, all right, well.
I just probably annoyed so many different people with just that one statement right there, but that's fine.
Well, you guys can find me on Twitch someday. Oh, man, you rock.
You rock too. All right, Alex. Love you.
Thanks
for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.